Nice view from a distance of Sainte-Chapelle. You see the steeple, great shots, nice place to take some pictures, get out your camera. You're going to burn through at least one roll of film a day, maybe two. So bring along lots of film on your trip. And on to Notre Dame, the most spectacular of all Gothic cathedrals. It is the prototype for several hundred churches that were built in the same style all over Northern Europe in the 12th, 13th, and 14th centuries, right on up through the 16th century. Inside, there's original Gothic wood carvings. These date back to the 12th century. It's a big church. It's rather dark, so it's a little hard to see inside. You've got to let your eyes get adjusted with its majestic stone roof and round glass windows surrounded by beautiful parks and gardens right on the banks of the River Seine. We're in the middle of the river on the Ille de la Cité, and from the back you have a nice view of the flying buttresses. We're heading for more important things though. Now we're going over to Ille Saint-Louis and we're going to get some ice cream. That was the Ille de la Cité. We've gone over the bridge. Now we're on the Ille Saint-Louis. These are the two main islands in the middle of the Seine, and they were the site probably of the very first settlement of Paris, which happened maybe 3,000–4,000 years ago. Simple fishermen. They were called the Parisi. And then the Romans arrived about 2,000 years ago and found that this was an ideal place for building a Roman city because it was easy to cross the river here. And so like many of the cities of Europe, the foundations were laid by the Romans. Now we're standing at one of the real charming corners of Paris, just right here at the tip of the Ille Saint-Louis. You see the beautiful wrought iron balconies and the red awnings and the classic trees of the street scene. This is the oldest settled residential part of town. It dates back, the buildings you're looking at go back to about the 16th century. And it's like a little village in the heart of Paris, even today. We're going to walk right down the main street of the island, and we're going to get ice cream. Now, Bertillon is got the ultimate in French ice cream, and now it'll be up to you. Compare it with what we had in Rome at Giolitti's, and you decide for yourself which is better. And when you're ordering the ice cream, I'd suggest you get some kind of exotic flavor like prune or whatever, something that you're not used to. Don't just get vanilla and chocolate and strawberry. They have all kinds of things.
Earl Grey tea and a mandarin orange.
Wow.
It's praline with pine nuts and the morning prunes. Delicious.
Raspberry and mandarin. That's what it is. Yeah. Good stuff.
Pistachio and hazelnut.
It's another one of those great indulgences you can enjoy when you're traveling. Even if you don't eat much ice cream at home, you're going to love it on the road, especially at Bertillon.
That's what they're known for. Why come and eat prunes?
And what's the verdict?
Very good. Delicious.
There are several ice cream shops on the Ille Saint-Louis that sell the Bertillon, but it's kind of fun to go to the mother lode and get it from the source itself.
Very good.
You can't miss it. It's right at the main crossroads in the center of Ille Saint-Louis. Leaving the island now, crossing over a graceful bridge with a beautiful view of the back of Notre Dame, again with those flying buttresses. And we're going to take a walk along the banks of the River Seine. See here one of the many barges that ply up and down the river. Families live on board the barges, hardly ever setting foot on land. They've got their TVs, their kitchens, they might have 3 children and some in-laws and a dog living on board the boat. Classic view of the back of Notre Dame from over on the left bank now. Along the river back at street level, you'll find the bookstalls, the bouquinista. They specialize in old books, out-of-print books, hard-to-find items, as well as posters and some historic postcards. Fun place to browse, although most of it's in French. Continuing along on the left bank, we've entered this little warren of streets that leads to Rue Huchette and Rue de la Boucherie near Place Saint-Michel for one of the best deals in town for food. It's lunch at the Greek place. There's half a dozen Greek restaurants here, and you can get a gyros sandwich or plate lunch and a soda with french fries for under $6. The gyros is this mix of pork and lamb, and they just go round and round. It's gyrating, so it's called gyros as it gets cooked, sliced off, and look at these guys work. They're jumping all over the place. You never see people work this hard or this fast nowadays, but here they are. Greek and Turkish immigrants operate these little restaurants that specialize in the Greek cuisine. There's also some French restaurants nearby, Italian. And then we ran into a choral group. They're about to put on a concert in Saint-Severin. Let's go in and have a listen. The serendipity of travel. Sometimes you win and sometimes you get into a free concert. We're entering the metro now over by Place Saint-Michel and heading out to the Palace of Versailles. Yes, you can get there by train. You take the RER actually. It's like a metro, but it's more of a commuter train. And it'll take you out to the Palace of Versailles in about 40 minutes. And the ride costs you about $3. It's a very nice way to get out to Versailles instead of buying into a half-day bus tour to take you out there, which could cost you $60. This way you just go out by public transportation, go through the little turnstiles here at the Rive Gauche station in Versailles, walk a few blocks over to the palace, and you pay your $10 admission fee, and it's really a great way to see the palace. It's quick and simple. We'll go inside and walk around, spend about an hour and 20 minutes probably inside the palace, and another half hour out in the gardens looking around. When you go in the main entrance, the first room you see is the Royal Chapel, designed by Jules Audouin Mansart, who did much of the work here at Versailles. Of course, the palace was built for Louis XIV. Previously, it was a smaller hunting cottage that his father lived in on weekend hunts. But Louis XIV, here he is in a bust carved by the great Bernini of Italy. Louis moved in and took over and began this massive construction of a 2,000-room palace decorated from top to bottom. Don't forget to look up at the ceilings. They're one of the most beautiful parts of the palace. Other artists involved were the architect Louis Laveau and the landscape designer André Le Notre and the painter Charles Lebrun. All worked together and created this masterpiece of a royal residence. And the best part of the entire palace is the Hall of Mirrors. It's a spectacular room with the windows on one side letting in light, mirrors on the other side so the light bounces around and is amplified, and the candelabras in the middle, complete with gold putti, little statues of cupids and others, painted ceilings, carved walls and balustrades. It's an amazing room and a historic room, for this is where the Treaty of Versailles was signed that gave America its independence from England. And the next Treaty of Versailles was signed here, ending World War I. The palace is a must-see on your visit to Paris.